What did we do last? Lift pensions 416, right? Rabaran, I didn't make the bracha out loud, but Daf.
We heard it.
I like the beat. I like the beat a lot.
It's to keep up the rhythm of the shear so we don't dawdle.
I hope we stopped soon, but
Didn't we do 350 last week?
yeah, but that was a little. So I think tonight we should start with the blot and a half. We should do a little bit longer, like this. We don't have to do, especially very long. It's very long block. Tomorrow's block is very long. It's easy, but it's 3:40 too early.
I mean, it's not like 3:45 is so much later.
Good point. Okay,
You know,
so
and we don't really have a choice.
3:40 it is. 3:40. That's 2 hours early. Sheesh. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's start here. Turn up on him. I'll get him to stop now.
Where are we on Pshiachov?
We're on Vav Amid Aleph in the top 4 lines down.
Thank you.
How much longer are you drumming? Okay, so if you could stop now, that would be better.
If you keep calling him, we'll stop also.
Yeah. Fine, thank you. All right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll give you that job, Naftali. You could keep calling him. So, all right. Not you, Naftali.
He wasn't talking to you.
You could keep calling Shalom so to get him to stop playing drums. All right, so Zok the Gemara. Yeah, Taner Rabbanon. So we said that there's Yoreh or malkosh. As we know, anybody that knows Kriya Shema, right? So there's Be'ita, Yoreh, or malkosh. Those are 2 types of rains. So what are they? Right? So Taner Rabbanon. Yoreh, Shemayre es Habrius, La'atiach Agasein, Lahachnes es Peresem, V'lases Kol Tzarchein. So Yoreh is the early rain, right? It's like sort of like it teaches the Olam that it's the rainy season's coming, so they better fix the roofs and bring in all their fruits that they put out to dry and to do all their needs before the winter, so that everything will be okay. Right before the winter. Davar acher, she mirave es haaretz. What it does is it softens up the land, right? Umashka ad tahaim, and it makes the liquid go all the way down into the tahaim. Shenemar telameh rave naches kidudeh bereviyum temagigagot simcha tevarech. Right, but it's what it's going to do. It's going to make the ground saturated, and it's going to make things eventually grow for a bracha. So those are 2 pshatim what Yoreh means. Davar acher, Yoreh sheyored benachas ve'ena yored b'zaf. Yoreh is that it goes like it's a soft rain, not a hard rain, not an angry rain, right? And it's not, and it doesn't do any damage. It just does what it's supposed to do. So those are 3 things that the Yoreh, three pshatim that Yoreh is actually a positive rain. Or is Yoreh that it's a bad thing, that Yoreh is a strong rain that's going to make the fruits fall off the trees. That's how strong the rain is going to be. And it'll wipe away all the seeds that were planted. And it's even going to wash away the trees. So we don't know which way to go with it. So Tamalaymar malkosh. So it says malkosh, which is the second rain. Ma malkosh lebracha, just like malkosh is for bracha. Af Yoreh lebracha, so Yoreh is also a bracha. Right? Meaning malkosh, it seems like it's going to be a bracha because it's the last of the rains. Yeah. So that's what the Gemara thinks now. Or then the Gemara says, "Einoi malkosh." Maybe not. Maybe malkosh ela shemapilas abatim. Maybe malkosh cause is so strong that it knocks down houses, and it breaks down the trees, and it makes bugs. It makes bugs come. Right? Is that where cicada comes from? You think cicada? Right? Cicada's a locust. Am I stretching that? Okay, stretch. Fine. So Talmud Leimer So whatever it is, so it's a bad thing. So Tamalay Yoreh. It's the opposite. So Yoreh, my Yoreh lebracha, af malkosh lebracha. And so malkosh is also lebracha. Okay, so meaning the Gemara is going both ways. We don't know whether Yoreh and malkosh are good rains or bad rains. But Yoreh gufei minolan, and how do we know that Yoreh is a good rain? The people of Tzion will be happy with Hashem. He's given you Yoreh for tzedakah. And he gave rain of Yoreh and malkosh in the beginning, right? Meaning in Nisan. So therefore, that's clear that Yoreh and malkosh are good things, not bad things. So therefore, we come out that these are good types of rain. Fine. Toner Rabbanan. Yoreh Nasarat. Now we've already figured out that Yoreh is a good thing. Now, when is Yoreh and when is malkosh? Toner Rabbanan. Yoreh b'Marcheshvan. Yoreh starts falling in Marcheshvan last month. Well, malkosh b'Nisan, and malkosh falls in Nisan. Meaning Yoreh is the first rain, malkosh is the last rain. Do you say that it's in Marcheshvan and Nisan? Maybe Yoreh is in Tishrei and malkosh is in Iyar, right? Meaning before Iyar is when they're going to start. Iyar and Tishrei is when they're going to start gathering in the grains. It says in its time, right? And the time is Yoreh, it would be in Cheshvan, and malkosh is Nisan, because that's when you need the rain the most. That's when Yoreh is. So malkosh. No, so now I'm sorry. So that's when Yoreh is, and that's when malkosh is. Now, what does malkosh mean? Malkosh. Amar Rav Nehilai Bar Idi Amar Shmuel. Davar shemal kishyasehen shel Yisrael. It gives a bris. Mal means a bris. It cuts off the hardness of Klal Yisrael. Meaning, Rashi says is that when the rain doesn't come, so what does Klal Yisrael do? They do tshuva. So it really cuts them off, meaning it makes them behave, makes Klal Yisrael behave, and that's what causes the rain to come, which we're going to see a lot over the next couple of blocks. What it means is malkosh means that it fills up malay tvua with the grain, because the rain makes the grain grow. The Masnisa Tana, the Brisa, we learned davar sheyared ala melilas vala koshin. It's something that comes down on the melilas, which we said yesterday. That's the what do you call it? The ears, and the koshin is the stalks. Yeah, fine. So Tana Rabbanon, Yoreh b'Marcheshvan or malkosh b'Nisan. Yoreh is in Marcheshvan, and malkosh is in Nisan. Ataymer Yoreh b'Marcheshvan ayena elam b'Chodesh Kislev. Maybe it's in Kislev, right? Which we're going to see later. There is a shita like that. Talmud Loimar be'ita Yoreh malkosh. In its proper time will be Yoreh malkosh. Ma malkosh be'ita, just like malkosh is going to be in the time that it's supposed to be, which is Nisan. Half Yoreh be'ita. So Yoreh is also in its proper time, which is Cheshvan. Yeah. And then the Gemara says in brackets, we'll say it, even Shiyatza Nisan v'yarduk shon, since Nisan is over and then the rain comes down, ain't a siman bracha, it's not a siman bracha. Tani idach, Yoreh b'Marcheshvan or malkosh b'Nisan. Divi Rameir. So this price now says it's a Machlokes, that Yoreh is in Cheshvan and malkosh is in Nisan. Divi Rameir. V'chachamim oimrim Yoreh b'Kislev. Chachamim shita is that Yoreh taka falls in Kislev, which was the Gemara's Havamina 3 lines ago. Man Chachamim. Who's the one that says? Who's the Chachamim that says that it falls in Kislev? Amar Rav Chisda Rav Yosi the Tanya Ezi Ravia Rishayna. What's considered the first rain? The first rain, the bechor of the rains, is on the 3rd day of Marcheshvan. Beinanis b'Shiva, the middle rain, is on the 7th of Marcheshvan. Afela, the last rain, is b'Shiva Osabay, that's on the 17th of Marcheshvan. Divrei Rameir. That's Rameir. So according to Rameir, it's the 3rd, the 7th, and the 17th. It's on the 7th, it'll be Yud Zayin, 17th, it'll be Esem V'Shleisha, and on the 23rd, so every 7 days. 10 days, and then 7 days. That's every 7 days, right? The 17th, the 23rd, and on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So we have a three-way Machlokes when all these rains are. We'll see in a minute what it has to do. What's the difference? That's what Rabbi Yossi said. Ein hayechidim misanin ad sheyagia Rosh Chodesh Kislev. People, the yechidim, meaning the yechidei skula, the tzaddikim, don't start fasting until Rosh Chodesh Kislev comes, and there's no rain. Even the yechidim don't start fasting until Rosh Chodesh Kislev comes, and there's no fasting, and if there's no rain, then they'll start fasting. Okay, so Rav Chisda, Rabbi Chisda says Allah is like Rabbi Yossi, that there's no fasting until after Rosh Chodesh Kislev, right? And the bigger nafkamina is, when do you start saying the same Talamata, right? The other shittas would say you start on Gimel. Rabbi Yossi says you'd start on Zion. If it's not supposed to rain till Zion, so that's when you start saying Masharuch Hamar Geshem, right? Which is what we say. Fine. I mean, at least in Eretz Yisrael. Fine. Ameimar Masni Lahad Rav Chisda B'Hal Lishna. Ameimar said what Rav Chisda said in this lashon. On the third day of Mar Cheshvan, that's when we start saying the same Talamot. That's when we ask for rain. Rabbi Gamliel Leimer B'Shiva B'Ay on the seventh day. Rav Chisda Halacha Rabbi Gamliel, and Halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel, right? Which is the first shot was that the Halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, right? And this one is saying that it's Rabbi Gamliel, that it goes with the seventh, which again there's no nafkamina. Both opinions, you're starting Masharuch Hamar Geshem on the seventh. It's just a matter of who said it. Okay, so Kaman Ozla Hadatanya. Who does this price go like? If the rain falls for 7 straight days, what you do is you count that as the first and second rains. Or they see ve here doesn't mean and, it means or. Vishniya v'shlishis, or the second or the third. Keman, who's that like? Rav Yossi. This could only be like Rav Yossi, because again, this Gemara is saying that the rain went for 7 days. Right? The rain went for 7 days. So and that Rav Yossi said it started at the 17th, 23rd, 30th. Right? So since it went for that, so that means if the rain lasted 7 days, it's going to cover either the first rain and the second rain, or the second rain and the third rain, unless it rained in the middle. I don't know why the Gemara is not maybe it started raining on the 19th till the 26th. So I don't know why the Gemara doesn't entertain that. But either way, the only one it could be like is Rabbi Yossi, because he holds that each one is only 7 days. So Rav Chisda, halacha Rabbi Yossi. The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, right? That that it's every 7 days. So Bishlam Rabbi Rishayna Lishal, right? So the first rain, we need to know when to do it, because that's when we have to start saying the same Talamata. Shlishis Lesanis. The third rain is to know when to fast if it didn't rain by Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Shniya Lamai. Who cares about the second? Not who cares, but what is the second rain for? Now the Gemara is going to give 4 terutzim. What would be Nageya to know when the second rain is? Samar Rav Zeira Linadarim. It's for Nadarim. The Tanan on Talmud Beis now. Hanoider ad Hagshamim. Let's say somebody makes a neder that he's not going to do something until it starts raining. He makes a neder like I'm not. He's going on the post Yom Tov diet, and he says I'm not eating whatever until the rainy season comes. So which rain? Is it the first rain, the second rain, or the third rain? So another or he says Mishayarduk Shamim, or he makes a neder from when it starts raining. So then it's Achateru Ravia Shniya. That's until the second rain falls. That's when it's considered raining. Why? So Rashi says one pshat, and Rashi really says 2 pshatim, that it goes with Lashon. We know that Nedarim go with Lashon B'nei Adam. Right? And Lashon B'nei Adam is that when it starts raining, it's not the initial rain of the season, it's the second rain of the season. All right? That's one pshat. Rav Zvid Amar L'Zeisim, it has to do with olives. What is this? What does that mean? The Tanan, right? So we learned in a Mishnah, Me'emasai Kaladim Mutarin, Beleket Shikha Peya. Now, the way it worked back then is that you had leket, shikha, peah, peret, and oilulus, which are all, leket, shikha, peah have to do with grain, peret, and oilulus have to do with grapes, with the vineyards. It's basically that after they're finished going through the field and gathering all the stuff, so anything left over, it goes to the aniyim. Once the aniyim are done, then the field becomes hefker. So it's 3 stages. First, the owner gets to go through the vineyard and his grains, and then when he's done, so anything that fell from him or that he forgot to pick and pay as the corner goes to the aniyim. Once the aniyim are done, then anybody can come in. So the Tanan. So what does it have to do with this? The Tanan. The leket b'shikun peah. When does everybody become mutter with leket shikun peah? Mishayelchu hanemushos. That's when the nemushos have already gone through. They already went through the whole field. What has been the nemushos? And then prepared by oilus. Peret is for grapes, and oilus also grapes, meaning grapes that were never really ripe and regular ripe grapes. When the aniyim go through the vineyard and then they left. What about olives? And when is the time that anybody can go into an olive? I don't know what do you call an olive? An olive field, olive trees.
Orchard. Olive
It's a
orchard.
grove.
Orchard.
An
I
olive.
thought it was a grove.
An olive grove. Yeah, I don't know why I never thought about that. Okay, I mean, I guess
But you don't drink martinis, so yeah.
Okay, maybe, but I eat olives. Maybe that's why I forget. That's why maybe I'm so forgetful. Okay, so anyway, so bezesim. So with olives, what's the time? Mishatered revia shnia. When the second rain comes down, that's when there's olives. So you see that's why we need to know when the second rain is, to know when everybody can go into the field, into the, what do you call it, the grove of olives. All right, my nemushas. What does it mean that when the people that go through the land, what is that? Amar Rav Yochanan, Savi, it's talking about the old people, the Azli Atigra, that they go on their cane. So since they're on their cane, they walk through the field slow, and they're bent over, so they could see everything that's on the ground. So if those guys have already gone through the field, then that means that all the aniyim have gotten to most of the stuff, and then anybody can come in. It's people that the takers that go after the takers, meaning the way it works is that Rashi says that one guy, the son goes first, picking up stuff, and then the father follows behind him in case the son misses anything. So he goes, he grabs it. So clearly, if these guys have gone through the field, then it's already time for the aniyim for anybody to go through the field. Okay, that's the second shot. Why we need to know when the second rain is. Rapab Amar, third shot. Why we need to know when the second rain is. To go in the paths that are allowed. Everybody can walk through people's fields until the second rain, because this is one of the things that Yeshua, right? Yeshua made what do you call it? 10 laws, right? He made 10 halachas that when they moved into Eretz Yisrael. Yeah. So what the main one, I don't know who was the main one, but people can go through other people's fields after the produce was already picked. So until when? So he says until the second rain, that's when they can go through. After that, they can't. Right? Yeah, so you're allowed to go through until the second rain. You're allowed to walk through it. Fine. The fourth shot, and this is Negea this year, Levar Peirus Shvius. It has to do with when the Sman beer is for Peirus Shvius. What does that mean? The Tanan, An Masay Nenin Besarfin, Beteven Uvakasha Shvius. Till when are you allowed to benefit and burn the grain and the straw of Shemitah? So Achatera Revia Shnia, until the Revia Shnia is, meaning the way it works with Shemitah is that the fruits, vegetables that grow by themselves, everybody's allowed to eat. it's hefker. But once it becomes not available to people in the to the animals in the field, then you have to get rid of it. Now the way you get rid of it is you just make it hefker, and then you go on from there, right? But basically, the Gemara here is saying that is by the second rain. That's already when there's no longer food available in the fields, and therefore you have to do this beer thing. My timer. Now, why do you have to do beer? For shvius tichsiv, for every behema and chaya that you have in your land. Kol zman shechaya oicheles besada. Any time that, as long as the animals could eat in the field, you can give it to your behema bebayis. I'm sorry, you can give it to your behema in the house. Once it gets used up for the chaya in the field, then the behema and the bayis can't eat it either until you make it hefker, and then you're allowed to take it back, right? Which is what people in Eretz Yisrael are going to have to be dealing with in a couple of months. One, maybe now already. I don't even know. I mean, according to this, the second rain already passed. So, what do you say?
Does anyone hold that all these answers are chaylik on each other?
Are they? Why they're chaylik on each other?
No, are they? I mean, it seems to be mishnayos. These are all different mishnayos and brachos and whatever. So it just comes out a little bit ironic. We gave one reason for the first and third rains. The Gemara asked, "Oh, but what's the reason for the second rain? What's the big deal?" There's 49 reasons for the second one. There's only one for the first and third.
So what's the problem? The first and third are pashut.
Nothing. It's just interesting. The Gemara asked it like it was a real question. What's the reason for the second? Comes out there's far more reason for the second than the first or the third.
Yeah, but I don't think. Okay, but it has not. These reasons have nothing to do with rain per se. They were just using the second rain as a time as a time frame, right?
Okay.
I think. Okay, so let's see. Amar Bavo, first wide line. Amar Bavo, my lashon revia. Yeah. What's the lashon of revia? Why is revia means rain? So the Gemara is going to say the taich, quite an interesting taich. Davar sheroiva sakarka. Roiva is used as a term for intercourse. Really, that's what it is, right?
Impregnate.
So it's saying, what do you say?
Impregnate. Maybe.
Well, roiva doesn't necessarily mean impregnate, but roiva when the lashon used for somebody being with an animal is called roiva, reveya, nirva. So.
But in this case,
in this case, yes, you're 100% right, Doctor. In this case, it's the water that's impregnating the ground, right? My lashon revia davar sheroiva sakarka. To the Rav Yehuda, Damar Rav Yehuda, Mitra Baila Da'arahu. Rain is considered the husband of the ground. Shanemar ki kasher Yoreh hageshem hashelag min hashamayim. I hope people recognize this pasuk, right? When the geshem and the snow fall from the sky, the shama lo yoshev, and they're not going back to the sky. Ki im hirva za'aretz. It's there to soften up the land. Vaylida, to make it give birth. It's micha, to make it grow. That is the pasuk, one of the psukim in the Haftarah on fast days. Yeah. So you see clearly that the water goes and impregnates the ground, and that's what things grow from, right? So it's like considered the Baal, because that's what happens with the Baal and an Isha, right? Fine. The first rain goes down into the ground, the tefach deep. The second one is it'll make it. It's going to make the dirt so loose that you'll actually be able to take it and form a cover for a barrel. Right? If it rains so much that you can take the dirt and use it to cover over a barrel, then there's no problem of va'atzar. Meaning va'atzar as a shemayim. Like if Hashem says if we don't behave ourselves, then He's going to stop the shemayim. So if it rains so much that you can make a barrel a cover for a barrel from the dirt, that means there's no va'atzar that year, and that means seemingly it means that Klal Yisrael behaved themselves. Fine. Rain that fell before va'atzar. So Rashi says what this means is if it rained before the Zaman Kriya Shema, right? So if it rains in the morning before the Zaman Kriya Shema, and if it rained at night before the Zaman Kriya Shema, Ein ben mishum va'atzar, then that means that there's no va'atzar, because that means it rained nice and early, so there's no problem, right? I just lost the place. Yeah. But this is only talking about if it fell before the atzar of night. But if it rains before the atzar in the morning, then that would be va'atzar. Because he's saying if it rains in the morning too early, that's no good. Morning clouds don't have anything to them. What should I do for you, Ephraim? What should I do for you, Yehuda? Your chesed is like the morning clouds, right? Which means that the chesed is very superficial and it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't have any mamish, like morning clouds. So you see that morning clouds don't really have much to it. I don't know how you get from clouds to rain. I mean, I understand how you get from clouds to rain. But maybe if it does rain, that means the clouds did have mamish to it, right? Okay, so I'm not sure. So, okay. But don't people say the miftach bave mitra, when the gates are open, there's rain, bar chamra moich sakoch v'uganei. We tell the bar chamra, the chamor driver, the donkey driver, to just close up shop, close up your sack and go to sleep, because if it's going to rain in the morning, then there's going to be such an abundance of grain that there's no reason for you to do business. You're not going to get a good price anyway, so just go to sleep. Which is quite interesting, because we're asking a kasha, Rav Papa is asking a kasha to Abaya from a phrase that people say. So, I mean, so what? So people say it. People say a lot of things, right? But it must be that he's taking what people say is so strong that it has to be true, right? Okay, but either way, that's the kasha. So that it seems like people are saying that morning rain is good. So one answer is like kasha had the kata be'iva. One is talking about that it's thick. Eva is thick. It had thick clouds. Had the kata ba'anani, and this is talking about where it was thin clouds. So thin clouds don't have much to it. Thick clouds do. Okay, so I'm gonna have Yehuda. Tava l'shata the teves amalta. When teves is an almana, Armalta means almana, then it's good year. Meaning, what does it mean it's almana? It's an almana from rain. It doesn't have any rain. When teves doesn't have any rain, that means it's a good year. Igadamri, deloi bairi tarbitzi, because then the tarbitzi means it's actually there's two pshatim here. One is that the Bis Medrash is not going to be empty because it's easy to get to Bis Medrash. Since it hasn't rained, the streets aren't muddy, and you can get to Bis Medrash. The other pshat is that some of the gardens don't do well with a lot of rain, so therefore, Tosfos says that pshat. So a lot of rain is going to mess up some of the vegetation. All right, but that's one reason. And some say the reason why no rain in Teves is good is the lo shakal shutfana, because it's not going to damage the shutfana, the wind. Wind is not going to take away your crops, because a lot of times rain comes along with wind. So it's going to be a good year. So, okay, so the Gemara is saying right now that if it doesn't rain in Teves, that's good. Aini, it's not true. A good year is when Teves is disgusting, meaning, what does it mean disgusting? Because it rains a lot, so then the streets are muddy and disgusting. So which one is it? One says Teves is good, rain and Teves is good, and one says rain and Teves is not good. Like Kasha, Hadasa Mitra Meikara. One is talking about when there was a lot of rain from Mar Cheshvan, And one is somewhere where there wasn't, right? So, when there was not enough rain before teves, so if it rains in teves, it's good. When there was a lot of rain before teves, then it's not going to be good for it to rain in teves. Okay, V'amar Rav Chisda, and another thing, Shamim sheyordu al miktas Medina. If you have rain that only falls on part of the country, al miktas Medina lo yardu, and the other part did not rain, ein ben mishum va'atzar, then that's not called va'atzar. Meaning, you can't say that. Let's say, I don't understand what this means, because how big is this Medina?
Right. Yeah.
Right? How big is the Medina? Right? So, but whatever it is, it seems like if it rains in one part, then that one part will be able to support the other part. So therefore, we would not call it a punishment if it doesn't rain in the other part. So the Gemara asks, is not true. I'm going to stop the rain from you when there's 3 more months to gathering. And I'm going to bring the rain onto one city. And on one city, I'm not going to make it rain. One is going to rain, and then one is not. And what it means is both is a klola. So you see that the pasuk is clearly saying that it's a curse to have it rain on one part of the country and not on the other part. So when it answers like kasha, one is talking about where one side of the country gets a lot of rain, so much rain that it also gets destroyed. So then it's a klala for both, because one part of the country didn't get rain, the other part got too much rain. And one is talking about where it rained the way it was supposed to. So then that's a bracha for both sides. Yeah, Amar Rav Ashi Dekanami. We have a diuk like that. T'chsiv Timater. It says in a lashon yachid, Tehei Makom Matar. It's going to be one place of rain, right? And not 2 places, right? So but it's a place that it's going to have rain, a lot of rain. That's what Rashi says. Yes, Shashmami no. Fine. Amar Rav Avo Me'emasam bevarchan al kshamim. So when do we make the bracha on rain? When the chasen goes to call the kala. So, and this is interesting because this is taka the way the rain is, right? When it rains hard, so the drops of rain bounce off the floor and go back up. So then it looks like one rain is going out to meet the other rain that keeps coming down, right? Yeah, I'm saying, everybody ever watched the rain? So when it hits the ground, you see it like bouncing on the bottom. So that would be like the chasen going to greet the kala.
It's
right?
called it's called splatter.
Is that what it's is that
Yeah.
Is that, I guess, right? Okay,
That's Aaron. That's what all the forensic detectives say.
Right, exactly. That's where I got it from. The blood splatter.
I hear. Okay, all right. So it's I know the splatter I deal with is oil that splatters all over the kitchen. Those are the things. That's the splatter I hear about. But yeah, okay, but that's what it is. So it's an interesting thing. That's meaning, I guess it has to rain strong enough that you have the splatter. If it's a light rain, you're not going to have that. So then you don't make the bracha on the rain yet. Okay, my mevarich. I'll call tipa v'tipa shayredas lanu, for every drop that you brought down for us, right? That nowadays every drop is for coffee. Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan Masayim Bahachi Ilu Filu Male Shira Kayam. Finally, Peretz and Nigin, right? If our mouths, this is from Nishmas, and we're going to have our tongues are going to be singing Ad Al Yazvunu Rachamecha Hashem Elokeinu V'lo Yazvunu Baruch Roiv Ha'idais, and then we finish off with Baruch Roiv Ha'idais. Most thank you. So you want to ask Roiv Ha'idais, but like Kol Ha'idais, we're not only giving most of thanks, we're not giving all thanks to Hashem. So Amarava Ema Kel Ha'idais, not Roiv Ha'idais. Hashem of all Haidos. Amar Papa, Hilkoch. Papa says Hilkoch, Namrenu Lutavayu, let's say both. Kel Haidos, Beraiv Haidos. Naftali Lauren, are you paying attention to this? Let's see if he chaps. I don't know if he's chapping. I don't know if he's there. All right, I guess not. I wanted to see if he chaps this because this is Gemara that he was Aymer on. I guess we'll have to tell him. But anyways, because here it's interesting because it says one sheet that says it's kel oidos, and one sheet that says it's roiv oidos. And who's the one that said it? Rav Papa. We had in Brachos that Rav Papa always tried to equate all the opinions, right? Which I think somebody said that that's pshat why they say all the parpapas by the siyum. I think we said that. Whatever it is, Rav Papa tries to get all the shitas. He says here too. Let's say both. Right? Rav Papa was a man of peace. Yeah, so that's fine. So Amar Rav Avo. So Rav Avo said, "Gadol Yom Hakshamim Mitchias." Okay, we're going to try and do a majority this summer. I hope that's okay. Either we put the island to sleep, or or there really is not much going on in this stuff. Yeah. So now already we start with more hashkafic gemaras. We're done with the rain. Now we start with Torah. Mixed with rain. Amar Rav Avo, Gadol Yom Hakshamim, mixed precipitation on this stuff coming up. There we go. So Amar Rav Avo, Gadol Yom Hakshamim B'Tchias HaMeisim. Yom Hakshamim is better than Tchias HaMeisim. The ilu Tchias HaMeisim l'tzadikim. Tchias HaMeisim is only for the tzadikim. They're the only ones that are going to become alive. The ilu Kshamim, but rain is bein l'tzadikim, bein l'rashayim, whether it's tzadikim and whether it's for Rishayim, because they're both going to benefit from rain. And he disagrees with Rav Yosef. Since rain is equal to Tchias HaMeisim, so that's why we put it into the bracha and Shemana Esrei Tchias HaMeisim. So Machlokes, the first sheet that says it's better than Tchias HaMeisim, and this says it's the equivalent of Tchias HaMeisim. So obviously that's the kasha that has to be asked. How can you say that rain is the equivalent of Tchias HaMeisim? I mean, Tchias HaMeisim is a major. What do you say?
What does it mean by gadol? Gadol yom. Greater is the day. What does that mean? Greater in what way?
That's the kasha, right? You mean greater than Tchias HaMeisim? What can it possibly be greater than Tchias HaMeisim? That's what you're asking, or you stop asking? What do you mean gadol?
Yeah, just stam gadol.
I think it just means like the way I understood it. It means like
chesed?
Correct. That's why I understood it. But I don't know if that's, everybody's like, you're greater than me. Like who's greater than who? So like this is greater.
Magnificent. How great this is. How magnificent it is.
Magnificent, but more magnificent than Tchias HaMeisim.
Goat. Yeah, but that's how we refer to it, to the goat.
Oh, the goat. What's the greatest of all time? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
I hear.
Is this shot why we say Mashiach Baruch Amor Gashan before the paragraph of Machaya Mason, that it's greater?
That's interesting shot. That's an interesting shot. He's saying that it's greater than Tchias. So you start, well, Ata Giva, yeah, we don't say, no, we do say Machaya Mason.
Right, but we say Mashiach Baruch first. Do we? Gashem.
Ata Giva Lo Mashiach Machaya Mason Ata Lo. No, we say we do throw Machaya Mason in there, right? Ata Giva Lo Mashiach Machaya Mason. Okay, we don't praise. I guess we are doing.
According to the Ritva, that first Mechai Mesim does not refer to the Mechai Mesim of the Gemara here. It's not the same Tchias HaMeisim.
Oh, there you go.
The Tchias HaMeisim of the Tzadikim is the third Baruch Atah Hashem Mechai Mesim.
I hear. I don't know. I don't know what the pshat is.
Far learns that the Ata Gibber Mechai Mesim is rain, basically. He goes with this Gemara that we just had. The rain is the what's it called? The Revia. Why is it called Riva?
Right.
Because Marvia is the Aretz. It calls that Tchias HaMeisim.
I hear. Okay, but that, okay, I don't, so you're saying still so it comes first. The rain comes first. All right, could be. I did hear that pshat is that rain is like Tchias HaMeisim. Right? It makes things grow that are dead.
That's the Ritva.
I'm saying, but it's not, see, the part that I didn't understand is that it's not taking things that were dead. They just didn't grow yet.
Well, the ground is dead without, it can't make anything grow without rain.
I'm saying, but you're putting something new in.
Rain gives it life. It gives dead
hear.
things life.
I hear.
The daimim, the ground is a daimim.
Right, but you got to put a seed in there. You got to put a seed in there. You got to put a seed in there.
Right. So you have a daimim and a tzemeach now. Together with rain, you have the rain is the matzmiach.
Right. I hear you.
All
right. Okay. Let's see. By some of you, the gadol yom kshamim kiyam shenin by Torah. The day of kshamim is more than matan Torah. Shenemer yarav kamata likhi. Right. Likhi is a lashon of teaching. Right. It should drip down like rain. Ve'ein lekach ela Torah. And lekach means Torah. Shenemer ki lekach Torah. Nasadi ilchem terasi al tazoy. There you go. Parents another nigga. Yeah. So Rav Amar Yosim Yom Shenit by Torah. It's more than Torah. Shenemar Yarav Kamata Likhi, Mi Nitla B'mi. Which one are we saying on which one? Havi Aimer. So what are we saying? We're saying Katan Nitla B'Gadol. The smaller thing goes with the bigger thing, right? So rain, which we're saying means Torah, has got to be greater than the Torah. So that's also Machlokes, whether the Torah is equal to the rain or the rain is equal to Torah or is even better. Rava Ramiksiv Yarav Kamata Likhi, it says that it should Yarav Kamata, it should drip like rain. Likhi, which is we said is Torah, Ksiv Tizal Katal Imrasi. What I say should go like dew. So which one is it? Is it like dew or is it like rain? So the Gemara answers him Talmud Chacham Hagan, who if he's a proper Talmud Chacham, Kital. That he's like tal, meaning it's always there, it's steady. Like we said a couple of blot ago, the tal is always there. And if not, orfeu kemotor, then it will break from the word egla aruf, from the arufa. Rashi says it kill him like motor, like a strong rain can kill things. So that's a Talmud Chacham who's not proper. Okay, so Tanya Hayi Rebuna Aimer, Kala Isaac B'Torah Lishma, Terasa Nasis like Sam Chaim. If you Isaac and Torah Lishma, it becomes like a medicine of life. Shenemar eitz chayim hi lamachzikim bo. Vaymer refuas tehei l'sharecha. There's going to be tfuas through your stomach. Vaymer ki matze matze chayim. Somebody who finds me found life. Chalayze b'Torah shalai l'shma. But if you ask Torah shalai l'shma, nasas le'sam hamaves, then it becomes a thing of death. Shenemar yarav kamata likhi. Drip down like rain. Vein arifa ela hariga, and arifa means killing. Shenemar va'arpo sham es ta'egla b'nochel. That's where they crack the neck of the agala, the calf. Right when you find if somebody is dead in between cities, so then you crack the neck. And now Taisus has a kasha that a pasha the kasha. Don't we know that mitaysha loylishma balishma? Right. So what's going on here? Here the Gemara seems to be saying that's not good to learn Torah Shalai Lishma, right? So Taisus says there's two Shalai Lishmas, the top Taisus. So it says that we say La'ilam Yasik b'Torah. That means in order that if you want to learn Torah, so people could call you Rebbe, or that people should give you covet because you know Torah, right? So that Shalai Lishma is okay, but here the Shalai Lishma that Taisus is saying here is when you're learning in order to get knowledge to disprove people. That's already not good, right? That's no good. If you want to just learn for the wrong reasons to get respect, okay, you'll do it, and then eventually
wouldn't it be called lahachis? Like lo lishma is like you don't know why. It's to me at least it sounds like you don't know why you're doing it, but you do it because like everyone else. But like someone who's using the Torah to go against Torah sounds like learning Torah lahachis, like to really like get into it so that they understand how to slug someone up, you know?
What do you mean that's bad? What do you mean that's bad?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when learning Torah lo lishma, it's theoretical. I mean, maybe this is just all theoretical anyway, but it sounds like someone who's just like me. Like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm listening. And hopefully one day I'll get there. But like a Jew for
No,
Jesus
you're
type.
learning Lishma. What are you talking? You're learning Lishma.
Yeah.
No, Shalom Lishma is like a kid who's learning, who doesn't really want to learn, and you're making him learn.
Yeah, and that's what I was always taught at least. But like someone who's doing it like lahachis, like to like use it as a weapon against from Jews, that would be like that. That doesn't sound like it would be the same madrega as.
It's right. Well, that's exactly. I think that's exactly what Tais is saying, Simon. I think that you're explaining what Tais is saying. Tais is saying there's two types of shalai lishmas. The one here, it's going to be sam hamavis. It's going to kill you if you do it for that reason, and it's going to end up coming back to bite you. If you stop do it because you want covered, then it's fine. I think that's exactly what it's saying. You're just asking how could you even call that shalai lishma?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
There's like a kavana to do bad. Like that's not lo lishma. That's like l'ra.
I'm saying, but he's still learning. He's still learning. No.
Okay. What's the point? Just because he reads a book doesn't mean he's learning.
But I guess it would still be limud Torah.
We're still worried about kavana of mitzvahs and kavana. There should be a kavana about learning and what you're learning it for, right?
Yeah. No, I hear.
I don't know. That's hashkafa, but whatever.
I'm not so sure that in Aramaic there is such a difference. In English, there's a big difference between not purposefully and purposefully not. In Aramaic, it's all shaloi lishma. It's the same, not purposefully and purposefully.
I'm sure they could figure out a wording there, Gershon.
But I think that wording is used for both.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I hear that, but okay. Everyone.
Okay, so let's see. Amalei Rav Yirmi Rav Zera Leisi Mar Lisni. Can you come teach us something? Amalei Chalash Libai Lo Yechilna. I'm weak and I can't give shir. So Lei Mamar Milsa Dagada. Okay, so at least I say over some Agada. Amalei Hachi Amar Rav Yochanan Mai Dichsev Ki Adam Eitz Asada. Person is a tree in the field. V'chi Adam Eitz Asada. Who is a person a tree in a field? No. So what's the pshat? Because it says, right? For you will eat, right? And you don't cut it down. You should cut it down and destroy it. Okay, tzad. If he's a proper Talmud Chacham, you can eat from him and don't cut him down. But if not, meaning if he's not a Talmud Chacham that's proper, so I say Sashkis Vikaris, then you should destroy him and cut him down, right? Which is pretty strong, right? If you find out who's the one that's supposed to decide that he's not a proper Talmud Chacham, I leave that to the websites. Yeah, fine. Amar Rav Chama, Amar Rabbi Chanina, Ma'idich Siv Barzel beBarzel Yachad. That metal sharpens metal. Right, metal, one metal sharpens another metal. So too, two they sharpen each other with halacha. Meaning, if you learn by yourself, it's no good. You learn with a chavrusa, then that helps both of them get better. Why do we compare Torah to fire? These are my words, like an eish is the word of Hashem. Just like you can't, if you light one piece of wood, it's never going to light. But you need a bunch of pieces of wood. So after when you're learning by yourself, you're not going to be able to mekayim divrei Torah. What does it mean when it says in the pasuk, cherev el habadim v'noyaloi, a sword on the people that are by themselves, and they're going to become stupid. It should be a sword on the enemies of Talmidei Chacham, which means, and we don't want to say on Talmidei Chacham. It's like we don't say ayin hara, so we say it's on the haters of Talmidei Chacham. Sha'iskim bad bebad b'Torah, that they learn by themselves. Not only that, but they become tipshim. They become fools. Shenemer v'nayaloi. Not only that, they do a chet because they pass it wrong. Because it says it says here they become stupid. Right? That we acted stupid and we did chatayim. Over here from here, the officers of Tzayin were stupid. The hisu as Mitzrayim, and they made Mitzrayim go off. Yeah, so you see that it's very important to learn berabim, and it's important to learn chavrusas, which I see all the time when I even when we're learning the daf, and I've learned it once or twice, I imagine the ones that are doing the daf for the second time, when you learn it with a chevra, it makes you understand it a lot better. There's no question about it. I once asked the big Talmud Chacham, talk about with the hack of all these rabbis that unfortunately you find a lot of them go off. So I once asked the big Talmud Chacham, I said, what's the pshat? He says it's pashut. They leave yeshiva and they go sit in their offices by themselves all day. They don't talk to anybody. They're just asked shilas all day that they answer from people mostly that are uneducated. And then that's it. They got nobody to talk to, nobody to bounce things off of, and finish. They become krum. That's what he said. Now, I didn't ask him if he was basing it on this Gemara or not. But yeah. So whatever. Anyways. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak. We'll stop. We'll do a few more lines. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak. Lama nimshul divrei Torah ke'etz. Why is it compared to eitz? Shenemar eitz chayim la mlachazikim b'loy melach ma eitz katan madlik as a gadol. Why in eitz you take a little piece of wood and you light a large piece of wood. After the young ones, the small ones, sharpen the big ones, right? Because like Rashi says, shashaylim kol shah. They ask every hour. Right? They're always asking. I learned a lot from my Rebbeim. So from my friends, I even learned more than my Rebbeim. From my students, I learned even more. Fine. Okay, that's the end of that with the Torah. So I guess we'll stop over there. Okay, I'm sorry for going this long, but fine. Anyways, the Olam should have themselves a good night and sleep tight.
I call Shalom to tell him to start drumming again.
No, he went to night seder. So he's,
Yaakov, what time do we finalize tomorrow? I want to post it.
20 to 4. 20 to 4.
Can we discuss Matzah Shabbos, or is that?
Wait, listen, Elio, I think 7:45 should be. By the time we get rolling, you should be good.
Smack in the middle of Avos Abanim.
I expect.
No, it's not. It's way over by then, Naftali.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, believe not for you because you sit around there for an hour and a half.
Lando, you stepped right into that one, buddy.
Yeah.
There's a time for not the time that you tell your wife. There is a real time.
Oh,
very good.
Let's keep that between us.
Gary, you doing Mincha on Shabbos?
Mincha Shabbos, yeah. What we do last week?
You doing the shir? I wasn't there.
Yeah, we did shir. We did Mincha afterwards.
Shir will be 3:20 and Shabbos afternoon, and Mincha will be 4
I have to ask Chaim.
I'll be away for Shabbos, Yaakov. I won't be there.
Okay, fine.
I have to ask Chaim.
Thank you.
I ask Chaim. Yeah, if Chaim says no, I'll find somebody else probably. But find out.
Okay, I have a crazy question.
I had a crazy question for you, but you clearly booked out. We were asking for you.
I was listening.
So why did you answer?
I'm telling you,
I got a phone call. I got a phone call in the middle from work for 2 minutes.
Oh man,
what?
Rewind and listen, Tully.
What'd you ask me?
One at a time.
Now, Tully, you'll have to do Chazar on YouTube tomorrow.
I'll do it tonight. What do you want to ask me?
Called you out. We called you out. We called you out for something that you admired a lot of times. I wanted to see if you remember that Rav Papa at the bottom of the Amud that it said that with two. Rav Papa says, therefore, let's say both brachas, Kelai dice and Raibai dice.
Okay.
Let's see if you remember from Brachos. You were on this a few times. Remember what we say about Rav Papa?
He's the guy who makes shalom.
There you go. So that's what he said to do two.
To both. Okay, fine. Yeah,
See,
Rav Papa makes shalom.
When you got a phone, now explain to me
okay.
why punk when you got a phone call, we called you out to see if you'd chapis.
I don't know.
Severe
I don't know. But what's it called?
There you go.
That's because it was Aaron Horowitz. It was Aaron Horowitz who called him to Yaakov.
Parrot, can we make a minion for Mincha tomorrow?
Why can't you just get the Amud and YFR?
Because with the daf, I'm not going to get there in time for later. And I'm not going to be. No, that's the problem. I have to go to Upper. I think as of now, I have to go to Upper West Side for 11:00 meeting.
So you get the Mincha Gedolim in the Koil probably.
What's the mincha gedol on the kollel?
Call me. I'm
In the Upper West Side. In the Upper West Side, I checked. They said that I checked already. They said they don't have a kollel on Friday.
I hear you.
I checked. I thought I was going to do that and then come
Why
back
don't you
here
just
afterwards.
come here for the daf?
Come there for that's one option. Come to you for the daf and walk across the street after, or we make a mincha at
This is
3:20.
This is like group therapy. We get to help you out figure out where to go daven, what time to do the daf. It's like,
Don't worry,
asking between my
this is all from a guy. This is all from a guy who swears he's not going to make himself crazy to daven for the Amud.
I'm trying to get to a minion, not daven for the Amud. Forget that. I need a minion.
You'll get there by Kaddish. Kaddish is by Shkia already, Naftali.
Okay, fine.
He also has sullets.
I just figured between my kids, your kids, and Parrots' kids, before the daf, we can make a minion.
You think you're going to get all of my kids and Parrots' kids together before the Shkia? Do you really think that?
Not before the Shkia, before
the
daf.
Jacko, he didn't say before Shkia, he said before the daf.
Yeah.
Before the daf, man, at 3:30 in the afternoon, you want to make him, okay, listen, you let me know. And my brother Shalom will be here. I'm imagining he would not have davened yet.
He's not
I'll
a
figure
Friday
it. Otherwise, I'll just do the daf
Mincha
by you.
Jacko, he's not a Friday Mincha Gedol yet.
Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right. Okay.
Okay, I'll listen to the YouTube parts that I missed.
There's nothing to listen, Naftali. We already told you.
I know, but I missed part. I'll do it in the car. Okay, I'll do it tonight on the car. I'm trying to get out of it.
It's not hard, Naftali. It takes 5 minutes. This whole plot is.
Yeah. I'm trying to get out of going tomorrow. We'll see.
Simon, I had heard today from Rabbi Rosner. I was listening with a half an ear. I had it on. He had said a few pshatim in Torah Shaloi Lishma. He brought from Rav Shach, who said that if you learn Torah Shaloi Lishma, it's good, but all the brachos that it says you get from learning Torah, whatever those brachos are, that you're not getting.
Say that last part I didn't get.
That all the brachos that the Gemara says, you learn Torah, you'll have happiness, you'll have this, you'll have that, you're not going to get that. That Rav Shach says. That's what he said. Then he brought from the Netziv that, and this was similar to what you were saying.
Like before you get there, I mean that makes sense, right? Because to be makabel the brachos, you have to understand that you're even getting a bracha, right? Even like non-from people go to Gedalim, understand that they're getting a bracha from a gadol, right?
Correct.
So like there's already some type of Kabbalah there, some type of actual ritzanos of Kabbalah. If you don't know that you're learning, but again, that breaks it all. That would also break it down.
I like what you're saying. It's the learning the Torah that teaches us what bracha really is. So
right.
Mamela, someone who learns Torah Shalei Lishma, he's not really learning. He doesn't know what bracha is. Mamela, he doesn't get it.
If someone's doing it already, that's a madriga, right? So like they're already being makabel some type of bracha. You can't just do something and not receive anything. That doesn't make a lot of sense. He must mean that person that's doing it for the wrong reasons, not someone who doesn't know why they're doing it, but someone who's doing it for the wrong reasons.
No, he's not saying that. He's saying different. There's still three groups of people. The person who does it lahakis, lahaktir, as Taisva says, to him, Torah is samamavis. Not only does he not get bracha, he gets klal. So the person in the middle who's just not doing it for the truth, that person just doesn't get brachas that the person who does it lishma gets.
Right. Isn't there varying levels? I mean,
there's three levels. But what you're saying is a good part. I like what you're saying. Even within lishma and shalei lishma, someone who's learning Torah shalei lishma will never understand fully what bracha is. If he doesn't understand what bracha is, he can't receive the bracha. Yeah. Someone who's learning Torah lishma, he's really learning the Torah because the Eibishter told him to learn the Torah. Now bracha is open to him.
Come in.
Now,
I mean, this is a real Hasidic zach over here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not really. I don't think so. I think it's ernst. What bracha v'yitam l'cha kalman hashemayim, right? It's all someone who learns Torah.
I'm just finishing up.
That is the Shema. You have to understand that Tal is bracha. Without understanding,
did your wife decide?
I told you she's not going to make a decision yet. But if I would say probably not. When do you have to cancel the flight by?
I don't know. That's why I was going to ask. That was my next question.
Probably before Shabbos, it would have to be canceled.
Okay, fine. So decide before Shabbos.
Yeah. The other pshat, I got somebody here now, so I have to hang up. But the other pshat he had said was that if you're stam learning, because you had said something like this, Simon, if you stam learning because you're learning, so shaloi lishma, that's not bad, that's fine. Like because you had said, you're just sitting and learning, and you hope that it's, you hope you're getting some schar or whatever, right? He said, but when you're learning with a shir, whatever you want, okay. When you're learning for a shir, and you're giving a shir or you're giving pilpul, and that pilpul is shaloi lishma, that's real bad. Stop learning shaloi lishma. I think he said something like that from the Netziv, Rabbi Raz. Right?
That sounds like Netziv. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking about something also. Are you talking about Geshamim also, about Geshamim being a bracha? And we learned before, I want to say it was like the first two davening.
Trust me.
But I can't tell you that.
That's
fine. The first night, or I'm sorry, the rain on Sukkot is a klala. We learned that it's a klala. So then, how do we learn in this whole series that rain is a bracha and all that stuff, but except on Sukkot, when we start davening for it, or right before we start davening, is a klala? How do we learn that then?
Wait, but that makes sense now with the last blot and a half.
Got what?
Well,
rain,
it's
there has to be the right time. It has to be the right place. It has to be the right everything to be bracha. And that there's no va'atzara. That will never get taken away. Then there's other times when you have gishmei bracha, when there's problems and we need geshamim to fix them. That's also gishmei bracha, but that's besides the point. You're talking about regular rain. With regular rain on Sukkot, it's a klala. It's not a bracha.
How do the Hasidim turn it around?
What?
How do the Hasidim turn it around and say that the rain on the
That's
first
the
night?
Hasidic.
They turn everything around.
That's already more. What?
Anyways, okay. You
I'm
guys
all
play
for
it. I gotta hang up. But all right.
All right, Yashikaya.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
See you later, Gershi. Speak to you later, bud.
Oh, we're still on? How are we still on?
Yeah, because we have to hang up.
Eretz is still on. Eretz is still on.
Well, he's drinking somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're talking about Chabad. Why they sit in the sukkah? Because it's Gishmei Bracha?
I didn't even think about that. I mean, I just Hasidus in general.
I heard that.
Well, yeah, am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, he's cooking meat while he's drinking.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.